All right, it's 4 o'clock on Thursday. It's time for the Real Estate Happy Hour Show.
That's it, man. Again, Thursday, and it is hot, and it is summer.
Hot is an understatement.
Well,
I mean,
being in this office a lot, I'm pretty cold in here. But
it is nice and cold.
if you are outside, yes, it is hot.
About 95 degrees. It's every year I go. I ask myself, why do I do this to myself every,
Yeah.
I live here, I guess. But
Collier asked for the song Lovin' Spoonful. If you knew that, you get bonus points.
Yeah, bonus points. We give extra credit.
Yes,
right?
that's excellent. Excellent.
Summer in the city, it is. And, well, man, how's your week been going?
Been busy. It's been nice, but got a lot of stuff going on. A lot of loans to work on, and a lot of people trying to buy houses. So that's a good thing.
They're all out there, and I know you spent a little time. Hey, tell me about this. You spent how many hours at the dance recital last week?
Oh man, Sunday. Now the moms and the dancers obviously spend a lot more time, but I know I was there for at least 5 or 6 hours.
It is crazy. It is crazy because you're really there. Let's be honest. You're there to see your daughter. That's it. That's all you care about. And that's 6 minutes of 6 hours.
I know. Well, she had a lot more dances, and have a niece that had a lot of dances too. So I saw a lot more dances than normal.
Yeah,
that had people of interest in them,
and no cocktails.
There are people that are there for like 6 hours in. Oh, they do serve beer and wine there.
Oh, do they?
I didn't have any, but they do serve it.
Ah.
But there are people that are there for hours to watch 6 minutes worth of dance.
It is crazy. I mean,
and it's your turn this weekend.
I got it this weekend. Amanda gets to go. Now, here's the problem I have is that we got to go the morning. They have 3 shows, right? So, but of course, the folks over there at the dance theater want to do, because we're right at that middle age, like where she's playing, and she's basically in the young kids and the next level.
Yeah.
So they want to show them off to the little kids so that the moms that are younger know this is what you get next time. So you got to go to the early show.
Yeah.
Then you got to go to the next show.
Yeah. So they try to overlap a few to get more people in there. Huh?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. And thank God the parents get free tickets. But because me, I'd be sitting there going, "Hey, Groupon."
Yeah.
But the grandparents are all about it. Ray Williams, how are you? Good to see you.
I'm trying to find us here.
Well, yep. Well, we are on the Real Estate Happy Hour page there. This guy hasn't gotten with it, right? He's over here. We just a little back office here. A little what would you say? What goes on behind the scenes?
Yeah.
We have a monitor over here. Yeah, so we can make sure that we're blasting out to you. But anyway. Tell me about interest rates. Interest rates this week.
Man, it's funny. I just had somebody text me asking, a client said, looks like rates are dropping. Does that help us? And, there are situations if rates move a lot that, we can renegotiate and drop a rate. But for the most part, there's these headlines out there right now that rates are dropping dramatically. And they have improved this week, but they got a little worse last week. All in all, it's kind of a wash. So they haven't moved in the last couple of weeks much, up and down, a little up, a little down. Yes, the trade wars with China have caused some activity improvement in rates.
Fluctuations, yep.
But look, we're not talking about anything jaw-dropping like the media likes to put those headlines out.
But remember this, too. David and I used to always laugh about this, is that bad news, like a bad war starting in the Middle East with the U.S. involved, great for interest rates. Right? I mean, interest rates will move inverse to the news. So if it's all good news, the interest rates are generally going to rise.
Absolutely, absolutely. So right now they're not very much changed according to the Freddie Mac Mortgage Market Survey. 4.06 on a 30-year, 3.51 on a 15. So that's not a whole lot different from where we've been. Going into a Memorial Day weekend with what's going on right now, probably not going to change a whole lot tomorrow on a Friday. So we'll see what gets worked out.
Hey, do not trade stock tomorrow on the stock market. The good guys are out. It is funny to watch the stock market on a day like tomorrow because it'll just stay right in there. Not minus 10, up 10. Very little trade. It'll be all the robo trading tomorrow.
So nobody doing much. But yeah, it'll be interesting to see. Good to see Ashley Grubb on there. Thanks for tuning in.
Saw a story, Keeping Current Matters, the folks over there, was Steve Harney and his folks, came up with the best times of the year, or days actually, the best days of the year to list your home. And actually, they got it from Adams Data Solutions. They conducted a study of over 29 million sales over the past 8 years. And they looked at when the home's listed, and then they looked at how much on average did they get over market value, or probably average sales price in a particular market. And guess what? The 5 best days to list your home are ahead of you from today. Today, if you're watching the replay or listening on the podcast, today is, what is today? May 23rd. So one of the days is tomorrow, May 24th.
It's a Friday.
Which is a Friday.
Before a long weekend.
For a long weekend, May 31st this year.
It's next Friday.
Then we got a Thursday in June, June 20th, June 21st, which is a Friday. There's a common denominator here. It's Friday. And then June 28th. All those dates were dates that they found got almost 10% over the market value in sales price. Isn't that interesting?
Yeah. Very interesting. And I guess ahead of a weekend, I guess this is the time of the week people start thinking about what they're going to do this weekend and go and look at houses and things like that. So,
well, it's really what I knew you would like about that. You're a numbers guy, right? And one of the things that I've learned from you is you've always said numbers tell a story. I mean, there's something about this that's going on that because everybody wants to think it's May, April, but really the stats are telling us a different story, aren't they?
Yeah,
here.
Yeah, that they're leaning into the summer and getting busier. And I don't know if this is this says by month you're going to average more in June.
Right. But then May, those particular days got like 9.8%.
And then May and then July. Yeah. So yeah, like you said, March and April are the springtime months that people anticipate their typical real estate market. But this is actually showing us that June, then May, then July are the best months.
Yeah, it's crazy because I think everybody, you know what it is? It's FOMO, isn't it? The fear of missing out. So you get everybody going, I got to get it on the market right now, and it's March 1st.
Yeah, and one thing I didn't think about was that families start to search when the kids are out of school and they know the weather is ideal for home viewing, and not only that, but moving.
I didn't think
about
moving.
would stink when it's raining hard or when it's cold.
Like
moving stinks anyway.
Moving stinks always, and today is awful. I would hate it today. Today's about 95. It's funny. Our friends in Arizona or other places are laughing at us for whining. We whine in the winter. We whine in the summer. We can't catch a break, can we? But anyway, so the 5 best days to list your house are ahead of you. Just don't do it in July, right? I mean, It's a good time in July, but do it right before that.
And then August is typically really hot. So
good luck talking about the temperature.
So moving on, next we want to talk a little bit about USDA loans. I mean, this is a good loan product. It's a little bit different. I don't think we use it a whole lot. Obviously, I mean, we just don't see a ton of it here. But it's still a very good loan. 0% down. 2 big things on the USDA loan is income and the area, if it's eligible. Obviously, it's got to be technically a rural area.
Technically, let's so everybody knows when he's talking about rural, that is not rural of Little House on the Prairie.
Yeah, it's not agriculture and farms.
No,
I mean there are plenty of areas.
Collier, Collier here in Birmingham.
Chelsea used to be for a while.
Is it not?
No.
Okay.
I think parts of that maybe the outskirts, but they've changed some of that zoning.
And we're talking big houses. I mean, you can get into some nice areas that just haven't had updated maps from the USDA.
Yeah, absolutely. So the biggest thing, obviously, speaking of income, they just raised the limits this year to 82,000, north of 80,000 now for single family.
Of income, though, right?
Yeah,
you say?
Yeah, 82,000 income. And then, but I was surprised to find actually earlier this year, a family of 5, because they have 3 kids. So mom, dad, family, 3 kids, family of 5. The income limit is $109,000.
Well, that third kid paid off.
Yeah, which seems like a lot for a USDA. Used to be thought of as maybe low income loan.
Well, I think those of us who have been in business for a while think of it that way, or starter.
Yeah.
Like, you're just starting out, let's get a USDA loan. But you were saying that you've seen houses under contract with USDA, up to in the 300s?
Yeah, 330. I've seen that. Some things about a USDA, the borrower is not supposed to have the capability of getting a 20% down conventional loan, right? So if you put, if the file looks like they can, USDA can deny that.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Really? So it is subject. So we're not talking about, like last week you talked about with, I believe, we were talking about FHA last week, right? No, or I believe it was FHA. But you were saying that there is a system you go in and a computer underwrites it.
Right.
In this case, you're saying that a person physically looks at it.
Oh, no, we still have automated underwriting for USDA, but if there is capability on the borrower to put 20% down to qualify for a conventional loan, they will not get USDA.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah. So that the income is a big deal. Obviously looked at that very hard. The 640 credit score, I know we're talking about that in here a little bit. 640 credit score is kind of a guideline. We can get them done below that. It just looks at it a little bit.
Interest rate difference?
Not much, not a whole lot. Interest rates on these are still going to be in the low fours right now. Seller can contribute 6% towards the buyer's closing cost.
Wow. So that's you said last week, or whenever we did VA, we talked about VA, you said 4%.
Well, VA's
Four, but
yeah,
that's
but
very liberal.
VA's got some room there. But yeah, 6% on the USDA's. Now, the fees, the additional fees, there's a 1% guarantee fee that they add to the loan. They finance that back in.
And
just
you
like
don't
FHA.
get that.
No.
USDA does.
Yeah, it's just like FHA that finances back in the 1.75. This one's only 1%. And the monthly, they call this an annual fee. It's the same as, monthly mortgage insurance. It's 0.35%, which is the lowest one out there.
I had a question. Matter of fact, it was from someone that's is going through you for their mortgage. And they were asking the other day, what these fees go to. And, I didn't really have a good answer, but my assumption is this 1%, what have you, is going to fund the program, right? I mean, that's how they pay their people.
Yeah, that'd be income for the USDA program.
Because you guys aren't making this money.
And now, some of these, like the upfront mortgage insurance premiums, those actually go to offset losses in the case of default.
You're helping fund everybody else.
I mean, that FHA upfront mortgage insurance goes into a pool of money.
It's not going to pay the light bill at FHA.
No, that pays losses in case the loan defaults.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Well, now you talk about mortgage insurance. So is it baked in on this one?
No, they add the 1% up front and then the 0.35%.
Okay, so part of that is the thing. So it's not just...
Yeah, so that's added to your monthly payment.
Gotcha.
Now, who's eligible for this? It is a U.S. citizen, permanent resident. It's got to be primary residence, obviously. And then we just, we do the same type of qualifications with income, bank statements. A lot of times you can get, if you got 0% down and you have some help from the seller, you can get into these for very little money out of pocket if you have your seller paying all your closing costs and prepaid items.
Who talk about debt to income, because we talked about VA, we talked about FHA. What is the debt to income ratio that's good here?
And the debt to income is a big deal on USDA. Usually it's 28% on the front end ratio of your monthly payment and 41% on the back. This is it might just be because we don't do a ton of them, but it seems like they are more particular with these numbers than any other program. And USDA is also the only, really the only loan where we have to send the file out.
You really do.
For a third party. Everybody has. Once our underwriting is done and approved, we actually send the file to USDA.
Huh.
And right now, USDA is on about a little over a week backlog. So that means if I send them my file today, then it won't get looked at probably for not even through next week, but the following Monday or Tuesday.
So if you're a buyer or seller and you're writing a contract soon, and do you recommend instead of a 30-day closing window, they extend that to a 40, 45 day?
Absolutely. Yeah, you got to build in that little bit of time because on every USDA file, it's got to be.
And remember, this is straight up federal agency. So when we had the government shutdown, in early April or whatever, late March, that was affected. They were gone. They're non-essential.
Yeah, we actually had some loans that were sitting around, had to keep getting extended until the government shutdown was over, and then USDA picked the files back up. So that whole time, you had borrowers that if they didn't have any other option, they were just waiting.
What about inspection? Sellers are always worried about an FHA or VA inspection. what are your thoughts here? USDA, is there any?
Yeah,
How's
USDA.
it looked at?
Yeah, USDA is going to be similar to FHA, so it's going to be a little bit more stringent. They're going to look at sanitary items like
Sanitary items.
Yeah. So,
Sounds.
but
There's
exposed.
poop on the ground.
Yeah, exposed electrical, broken glass panes, any broken railings on a deck. Let's say.
Is there a roof on the house?
Yeah, they're gonna look for things like that. But yeah, that's pretty much.
And can they get
gist
this?
of it.
Let's say I was wanting to buy a investment property. Can I buy one in one of these areas and use it as a investment property?
Nope, it's got to be your primary residence.
Where else?
Yeah.
You're going to the pokey.
So they got a lot of things now. They'll also look at household income. So if your wife is not on the loan, they still want to know what her income is.
Ooh, that's a big one, folks.
Yeah.
Because we've talked about it in the past. David said, "Hey, we can qualify under one person, right?" And this one, they're going to look at everybody.
Yeah, USDA is one of the last ones too, because Alabama Housing even changed their guideline on this. So USDA, if you have any other income, and I mean even part-time, anything, they want to know who it is.
Isn't that fascinating?
Anybody working in the house. So that's a big one.
Well, hey, next subject we want to talk about is really important because it's graduation day. I was about to sing Old Anxiety, but whatever that song is, but that's New Year's, right? That's not graduation. But it's graduation weekend. Everybody's graduating. So we want to talk about the 9 things that new college grads need to know and do before they get their first big girl, big boy paycheck.
Yep, before they get out in the real world and start getting paid.
I mean, this is going to be big for you in a couple years, unless she goes to graduate school, right?
Yeah, you got number 1 is create a simple budget. I think this is probably good advice for everybody to create a budget on where your money goes, and you'd be surprised.
Well, you think about it, and I'm not just talking about your situation, but you are in a situation where you got this college kid that you send money to. Hey, when it's dad's money, things don't technically have to worry about budgeting as easily.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because guess what? Back on the telephone, call daddy,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And when you're in the real world, you don't have that issue. But the problem is kids today also want to still do stuff, and we want them to. We want them to get in the habit. I think you've talked about it in the past. It's more of a habit thing, right? It's a repetition of getting in the habit of saving.
Yeah.
And the budget gives you a guideline.
Yeah, and rather than looking at your money and how much you have available to spend, right? Mm-hmm. Because usually they just spend as much as they've got, right? A lot of people do.
They do. A lot of people do. But these college kids, the smart ones, it's funny. It's kind of like they don't realize how smart they are until 20 years later. Because I remember in college making fun of the people that were, man, I got to save some of this back. And until this day, one of my best friends is this way. But he's probably a millionaire now.
Yeah.
And I was making fun of him. But, we got another 6-pack of beer.
Right.
And he mooched off of us.
Yeah. But he saved his money, though.
He did.
One way or another. He was saving it and you were spending it, right?
Yep. Number 2 is make a money priority list. And in other words, where are we going to prioritize putting our money? In other words, where are we going to tell our money to go every month? Because I think that's the biggest thing for a new grad is they don't know what to do. I remember Amanda may be still on here, and I remember her dad did her taxes. He did everything. I remember she gets her first real paycheck. It was funny because she goes, something's wrong. And I said, well, what could be wrong? She says, they took too much out, right? She'd never had a real paycheck, like other than part-time work. I said, well, no, that's the real world, right? And they're not used to that, right? You're not used to seeing, and then you're going, well, when am I getting that back?
Yeah.
Right? And so now we got to go ahead and know that now that all that money's going out by way of taxes, what's left over needs to be told where to go. Have an emergency fund of at least $500 because Murphy's Law will kick in and your carburetor will go out, your tire will blow, you need 2 new tires, something's going to happen.
Yeah, something will happen. That's a good idea. If you can, definitely get into that 401k as early as possible.
And at minimum, go up to the match. It may be 3%. Put 3% in. You're never going to notice the difference. The other thing is, if you're graduating college with some credit card debt, that is the number one thing. Get rid of it as fast as you can. Get another job just to pay that off. Deliver pizza if you got to. And let's just get that out of the way because if you start that off,
Yeah. Instead of ramping up your lifestyle to meet the income, right? Take that income to pay off what your lifestyle's been
before,
in
because you were
college,
living
right?
large in college.
Right. Even though people don't think they are.
This is the hardest one. I tell you, you and I don't understand this one completely, but you're probably better than most. But understand investing basics. What is a 401k? What is a Roth? What does Roth really mean, right? What does a brokerage account mean? What does a discount broker mean? Is discount bad, right? What is a stock? What's a mutual fund? What's an EFT? ETF.
Yeah.
EFT would be how to get the money to the ETF, right?
Yeah.
But
So yeah, just understanding those basics and maybe how to open an account, how to buy into something simple like an S&P ETF.
yeah. It's like a meme.
Yeah, but I mean, as soon as you can get started, the better. The earlier you can save money, the more you can save, the better. Even though it's if you save a couple $100, it doesn't seem like much, but it really adds up.
If you have any questions about terms you see, go to investopedia.com. I found is a really good resource. Like you'll go, man, what is this kind of bond? Because David will be throwing out these terms about not margin. What is that stuff you do when you're betting on the long, like it grows to a certain options? I had to go look at there. Like, what in the world is he talking about?
Yeah.
Right? Because it's confusing. Next one, establish a retirement plan. Man, look, David, it's 45 years away.
Yeah, we've talked about it. I mean, it gets up, it creeps up fast. You don't plan on being, you don't in college or straight out of college. You don't even plan on being 35, much less 45 or 65. But once you get there,
you're going to need it.
You're going to want it.
And we talked about this a few weeks ago when we talked about, look, if you're coming out of college, you're not going to have to save to have $1 million at 65. What, about $350, $400 a month. A month, if you just put that away, you'll have $1 million.
Yeah.
And quite frankly, you'll be able to take, that's every month. So when you get to be 45, while your friends are having to put $1,600 a month away, you're still only putting $400 a month away because you have done the groundwork and you're living the dream. And
That's
quite
right.
frankly, if you get there, you're probably putting another $1,600 in at 45 because you can. So,
Exactly.
Number 5.
So take an inventory of student debt. It's a great thing to get out from under. A lot of people push this off for as long as they can, thinking it's low interest and it's not a big deal. But, man, it just kind of hangs out there over your head for 30 years, 40 years sometimes.
Yes, and quite frankly, I mean, mine got down. I was able to refinance my law school loans to like 2%. I'm a rarity, right? Because now they're up in the 6-7%. And you think, well, what really drives me nuts is kids going, well, it's just student loans. Because guess what? When they go get a mortgage, something like that, y'all treat it a little bit different than revolving debt. Like, what do you call it? Like credit card or something like that. So the whole world gives them a little break on it. But guess what? You still owe the money.
Yeah, it's still a debt.
Yes, and you don't, and just get those things paid off as quick as you can.
Yep. Number 6, begin making student loan payments.
There's a theme here, folks. Begin making those student loan payments because they'll give you, 6 months, 90 days, whatever deferral. Go ahead and start paying it because basically they're front-loaded like a mortgage is in terms of interest, right? So a lot of times you're paying less down on the front side of this than you are on the back side. So go ahead and do it.
Yeah.
It's
Get that started, get it out of the way. The next one, work on your credit. You should have already done this in college.
Yeah, you should have.
First credit card at 19, second one probably at 20. Let those, keep that balance 30% or less of the limit. And you should already have good credit at this point by the time you're getting the first paycheck. But if you haven't, then we do what we just said, which is starting with a credit card. That's the easiest way to build your credit scores.
And there's federal laws on the books that says they must consider I believe if you're 21, 22, a senior, that they must consider you for a credit card at a certain point in the college career because of what they didn't want with kids graduating. The government's trying to say you need, it'll be a very restricted card, but they don't want kids not being able to get credit because they don't have they don't have a history. Because so many people, we see a lot with females, right? Dad's giving them a credit card to use, and they just add them as additional insured. Guess what? It feels like that's your credit card. It has your name on it. Get your own number, but it's not helping you.
Right.
In fact, it's only hurting you when daddy doesn't pay the bill. Your credit's going to get hurt, and you're not even a guarantor on it.
Yeah, when you come to get a mortgage, if that's all you've got is authorized user accounts, then we actually don't have a way to determine if your credit scores are valid because dad's paying the credit card bill.
Well, and again, we see it predominantly. If you're a parent of a female, you're doing them a disservice, not because we know you want to take care of them. By taking care of them, help them get that, teach them how to get that credit card. Here's the problem with the guys. I was an idiot, and they were giving away free T-shirts at Auburn if you signed up for one. We're idiots. So I went, hey, free T-shirt. Let me sign up for a credit card. So usually the guys already have that credit or bad credit, quite frankly, because they made stupid errors because they bought a TV. And they had no business doing it. Next one, use credit cards as a tool. David just talked about it, keeping it under 30%. Big deal.
Yeah, use it a little bit, pay it off. Don't just go max it out because you got extra spending power. Use it wisely and, pay it off. Pay it off. Get rewards, right? Miles, benefits.
Absolutely, get them. And you can call me if you have any questions about that. I love that. Make your money work for you. Hey, those credit cards he just talked about, getting those points, getting cash back, that's letting your money and your stuff work for you. Have a plan of action. And, invest in yourself makes it worry. If you take that savings account and put it in an interest-bearing account, getting it 2.25%, 2.5% at Discover Bank, Ally, Marcus, there's a good number of them. I know you like Ally, good bank. Just put your money there, let it work for you.
Yeah, I think the biggest thing is just to establish a plan with the money other than spending.
Hey, spending's fun, though, David.
Spending is fun, but do something other than that.
But I got to go to Rome.
That's right. So next on our personal finance, the stock market. The stock market's been down, and that's why you're seeing rates improve a little bit. One big one that I was reading up on today is Tesla. Tesla is absolutely getting killed.
What's going on?
I read a couple of articles about it. I watched a couple of videos, and I guess the demand for their new Model 3 has been down. $195 on their stock price is back in December 2016.
So before the run.
Yeah, so a long time ago. A high of $385 in 2017, September of 2017, $385, almost double.
I did see an interesting article that was talking about whether Apple would take a run at them, and it's just too much of a risk, I would think, for Apple, wouldn't it?
Oh yeah, I don't see. Jim Cramer's talking about anything close to autos and oil right now is bad.
Yeah, airlines.
Yeah, anything.
Boy, Boeing. Wow, what?
Boeing's still taking a hit.
Boy, and they keep finding the cover up city.
Yeah, one of them that's just slow and steady, still going up is Waste Management.
Yeah,
trash.
And they keep buying different other trash companies.
But they say the best sectors right now: utilities, real estate, and staples.
And when you're talking about real estate in this context, he's talking about REITs, Real Estate Investment Trust, I believe, right? Medical Properties Trust here in Birmingham, good one. They own medical buildings. You can find them really in any sector. And, one of the interesting things, their CEO said, I thought it was really interesting, was that he said that when he started this, and while they've been so successful, is that he found a area of real estate where he knew the government would help pay the bill. And what he meant by that was Medicare, Medicaid, right? It's the only sector of commercial real estate where he knew he was guaranteed to get his rent.
Yeah.
Because people were going to go to these places and they were going to pay with insurance, and over half of the people paying were going to be getting government payments. And the government tends to pay regardless if they have the money or not. So, interesting. So
Good
MPT. Anyway, Darren James, good to see you. The Godfather of Louisiana. How are you? Anyway, we'll be back next Thursday as the lights went out on us. They thought the show was over.
Out, yeah.
Anyway, hey, don't forget about the podcast. Hey, anywhere you can find great
pod,
which would be Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Pandora. We're just everywhere you want to be. That's American Express, but it's also the happy hour.
That's right. Y'all have a great week. Enjoy your Memorial Day weekend.
Oh, happy Memorial Day. See you next week. Bye-bye.